Happy Wednesday, everyone. Well, not if you're Whoopi Goldberg, a.k.a. Karen Johnson. Yeah, who knew Whoopi was a Karen? I thought that was only for white people, like Toyota Priuses and skiing. Roll it, Francis.
Good morning and welcome to The View. You all saw the news. Whoopi will be back here in 2 weeks. Okay?
It's so cute when one of their side gets punished. They sulk like they ran out of raw cookie dough in the green room.
This wasn't your usual tension on The View. It was a real emotional outburst that had everyone talking. Things took a turn after Greg Gutfeld delivered a harsh comment that clearly struck a nerve. He didn't just respond, he came back with a strong remark that caught everyone off guard. And Whoopi clearly wasn't expecting it. You could see it hit her hard. She struggled to keep her composure, and it was clear the moment really got to her.
Yeah, ABC suspended Whoopi for 2 weeks because she said the Holocaust had nothing to do with race. She said this on a show called The View, which makes everything about race. Except now.
The Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race.
Ethnicity.
It's
about a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
Yeah, that's heroically stupid. Even for The View.
This wasn't just a tense exchange. It was a major blow to her credibility. If you thought reality shows got intense, this moment topped them all. 1 minute, Whoopi was confidently sharing her views from her usual spot on The View, and the next, everything seemed to fall apart. Greg Gutfeld fired back with a sharp response that took the entire panel and audience by surprise. His comment cut through the discussion with precision, and it clearly threw Whoopi off balance. Her usual calm gave way to visible frustration, and it didn't go unnoticed. But let's be honest, this didn't happen out of the blue. Whoopi's recent tone on the show has been growing more intense, and this felt like the breaking point. What was once a platform for thoughtful conversations has slowly turned into a heated back and forth, with everyone trying to sound more righteous than the next. And right in the middle of it all, Whoopi struggling to keep it together as the discussion spun out of control.
Yesterday on The View, otherwise known as Hell's DMV, Whoopi Goldberg asked how much different are the values of the Trump administration from the Taliban.
We have a leader who has repeatedly demeaned women, wants to defund organizations that benefit women, calling on the media to shut up, specifically wants to give preferential treatment based on religion.
Whoopi Goldberg often believes that raising her voice gives her opinions more weight. She tends to lead with emotion instead of facts. But this time, Greg Gutfeld pushed back calmly but firmly, and it hit hard. His sharp response clearly caught Whoopi off guard. She looked stunned, as if she couldn't believe someone actually challenged her. Her reaction was emotional, filled with sighs and frustration. But Gutfeld stayed focused. He didn't get personal. He simply pointed out the flaws in her argument with calm precision. While Whoopi spoke with passion, Greg used reason, and that made all the difference.
Wow. Talk about groundbreaking to actually hear a celebrity say something mean about the Taliban. How dare they compare them to Trump? The Taliban should sue. Guess they ran out of Hitler analogies. So as they bash the president, I'm reminded how entertainers rarely express any rage over any strand of misogynist Islamism. If they did, we might take their rage toward Trump seriously. A reminder, the Taliban throw acid in girls' faces for going to school. Yeah, I guess that's like defunding Planned Parenthood. Radical Islam is all for killing gays, and I guess that's the same as making some rude jokes. No, Trump's past rudeness is a product of a rude culture, one fed and fattened by a coarse entertainment industry.
When it was time for Whoopi to respond, she didn't lean on facts, she leaned into emotion. That's become a pattern. Rather than offering a reasoned response, she tends to get dramatic, often casting herself as the one being wronged whenever someone challenges her. It didn't feel like a moment of vulnerability. It felt more like a planned performance meant to take control of the moment. Let's be honest, The View has changed. What used to be a space for real discussion now often feels like a one-sided conversation where everyone agrees and challenges are rare. There's not much room for different views anymore. And when someone does speak up, they're usually dismissed or ignored. Whoopi often leads that charge, speaking with confidence even when her take lacks depth. So when Greg Gutfeld stepped in and calmly pointed out the holes in the discussion, it shook things up. His comments cut through the usual back and forth, exposing just how one-sided things have become.
Canada, apparently they're throwing tariffs on manatee meat and bovine semen, which means The View is very unhappy. Sausage maker Johnsonville is recalling more than 42,000 pounds of pork sausage for possible contamination with plastic fibers. Fortunately, authorities were able to track all 42,000 pounds to a single location in New York City.
Greg Gutfeld came prepared. With calm facts, not drama, he pointed out what many viewers already feel. The View has become too self-righteous. When Whoopi was challenged mid-speech, she looked surprised, even offended. Her response felt more dramatic than thoughtful. Sighs, emotional tones, and scattered points. Meanwhile, Gutfeld stayed cool. He didn't attack. He just told the truth, and that truth revealed a show that struggles to accept real debate, especially when it comes from outside their usual views.
Their brains are small. But who's the dumbest one of all? True, none of them are in Mensa, but who's the most densa? Perhaps it's Sonny who mastered the art of making idiots look smart. Now, The View could ask a mirror who's the dumbest one of all, but there's no way that glass doesn't shatter. So instead, let's check out this clip from Monday's episode of The View when the ladies put their science caps on and discuss the solar eclipse.
Ran down the hallway.
The rapture is here.
The rapture's here. And then also I learned that the cicadas are coming.
Cicadas.
Although I love
for the first time in like
No,
100 years,
no.
for the first time in many, many years.
No, every 17 years this happens.
Well, that's not what I read, but maybe, maybe you know better. All those things together would maybe lead one to believe that, either climate change exists or something is
returning.
Earthquakes are not at the mercy of climate change. It's underground.
No,
It
happens, and the eclipse, they've known about the eclipse coming because eclipses happen, and they actually can say when these things are going to happen.
Amazing. Wow. That's not what I read. The true sign of the apocalypse is someone that dumb has a law degree. Worse, if your name has the word sun in it, there's no excuse for not knowing how an eclipse works. But it's no surprise that Joy is the one who understands science. She's been on the science diet for years. Austin's obsession with race gets thrown back in her face. Today's video comes to us from sunny Austin. Sounds like a town. We're in sunny Austin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice. Well, turns out she's not as oppressed as she claims she is. She's actually the descendant of slave owners from... Whoopi claims Biden's loose bowels should make voters throw in the towels. Goldberg's rational so weak she doesn't care if Biden can't speak. Yes, it's a magical land where little Debbies make big bellies and brain cells go to die. This week on The View, Whoopi doubled down on her support of Joe Biden's re-election. No surprise. But it was her peculiar poo-powered prose that piqued my potty predilection. Roll it!
I don't care if he's pooped his pants. I don't care if he can't put a sentence together.
I don't care if he his pants, and in fact, she'll stand right behind him. Not only does she have a terrible case of Trump derangement, she also has no sense of smell or a really weird fetish. And I'm not one to kink shame, to each his own. I guess you just got tired of Joy's crap. Kat, what was the most interesting thing about this was the audience reaction. Like when she started talking about poop being everywhere, the audience was like frozen. They were like, what is going on here? Whoopi has a poop problem.
What does she mean she has poopy days?
She has poopy days.
Some of these studies are married white women, and they do fall in line with what their husbands are doing.
People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, and it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist. Makes Sunny Hostin, who thinks climate change caused the solar eclipse, the dumbest of them all. Because everyone knows the moon caused the eclipse, which is controlled by The View's gravitational pull. All right, Kat, did you ever see such a group? It's amazing how Joy and Whoopi became the smart ones.
For me, the most shocking thing about the conversation was how truly boring it was.
Gutfeld didn't just challenge. Whoopi, he cut through the show's usual tone with sharp, focused points. His remarks highlighted what many viewers have noticed. The View often feels more like a performance than an open discussion. As Whoopi struggled to respond, the rest of the panel seemed unsure how to handle it. Some looked uncomfortable, while others rushed to support her with vague comments and talking points. It felt less like a debate and more like a group trying to protect its image. Instead of addressing the criticism, the tone shifted to defending the show and themselves, rather than having a real conversation about the issues raised. But viewers weren't buying the victim act, not for a second. Outside the studio, the internet exploded. Social media lit up with memes, reaction videos, and TikToks dissecting the entire moment. Within hours, it became a viral roast session with The View and Whoopi front and center. And the worst part? This wasn't an isolated moment. It felt like just another chapter in the ongoing saga of Whoopi versus reality, where disagreement is treated like betrayal, and any pushback sparks the same dramatic routine. Greg Gutfeld didn't attack her personally, he challenged ideas, using wit and facts. But on The View, that's practically heresy. While Whoopi spiraled, Gutfeld stayed cool, cracked another joke, and moved on. No drama, just clarity.